Hello and welcome back to White Lines Football. Lewis again here today, back for the next episode of the Gillingham podcast. It is episode 3 today. I am announcing a little change. Obviously in the first episode I said that they were going to be uploaded on Thursdays, but the way we've worked out a schedule, more on that shortly, is that they're now going to be uploaded on Friday. So every Friday here on White Lines Football there will be an episode of the Gillingham podcast covering the last week in the world of Gillingham Football Club. More on that. Obviously, this week, videos have been very, very quiet. The last couple of weeks, it's just been Gills stuff, which sort of has to go up. Because it's very current rather than like the club I love and the cards, etc. They're not current because they're sort of episodes that have nothing to do with the world of football, if that makes sense. Next week, we're going to be doing a schedule. So hopefully, we're going to have more videos coming to you. We've got it all planned out. What's going to happen. We're going to be up fresh. And we'll see how that goes. But today, we are on the Gillingham podcast. I'm going solo, but again, with our schedule, we have got more people coming on. So it should all be good and back to the best it's been. The best it's been next week. We'll move on to this episode today. Obviously, it's not necessarily a happy one. We have 2 games to go through. There are 2 losses. And first of all, we will start with Walsall. Saturday, I travelled to the Bank Stadium. Obviously, the vlog is on the channel. You can check that out. It was our first defeat of the season, a 2-1 loss. It wasn't great, it was, how do I put it? It wasn't the Gillingham we'd come to expect as such from this season. In our first 3 games against Accrington, Burton and Millwall, we performed very well. But Walsall, it went out the window. And it was quite shocking, really, because I think we created all right going forward. Although it wasn't the best we've played going forward, we did all right. Defensively as well, it was really, really questionable. And I think it's the first time we've come up against a side of genuine pace, genuine threat on the counter. Normally, if we come up against big strikers or teams are going to try and pass around us on the ball, we're happy to defend that. We're happy to sit deep. We're happy to have physical battles, our defenders. But Walsall on the counter, they had pace, and that really, really troubled us. And I sort of worried because I'm sort of worried that could happen more in the future. If teams come with us and more pace to play on the counter, because obviously we back ourselves to go forward. So if we're going to try and control the game, if teams come with us on the counter, we're going to struggle, I think. The defence did struggle a lot with the counter, but I think the defenders as a whole were poor. I think maybe Garmston, Zakuani as well maybe came away with a bit of credibility, but I think Aymer and O'Neill in particular were really, really poor. O'Neill got hauled off for Fuller late on, and that wasn't because of an injury. I know that for a fact. Luke O'Neill was poor. I think he got beaten quite a lot down that right side. I think a lot of the time the defenders were fake shotting him, and to me, it didn't look like he put too much effort in to get back. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know what it is, but he didn't make an effort to recover, really. Going forward as well, obviously we're playing the diamond, so it's his responsibility, really, to provide the width on that right-hand side. He didn't look like he wanted to get forward. I know he's not blessed with genuine pace, but I don't know if he was tired, but he didn't seem like he made too much of an effort to go forward. Obviously, O'Neill's been taken off a bit recently. I don't know if that's because he's tired, or I don't know if it's because of his play or something like that. But obviously he's not injured, so I don't know if something's going on there. But O'Neill did really struggle in that game. It's probably the worst I've seen him in a Gills shirt, to be honest with you. Max Aymer as well, he was really, really poor. He was playing right centre-back. In all honesty, I'd rather see Aymer and Zakuani swap anyway. I'd rather see Aymer play left centre-back and Zakuani on the right. But Aymer played on the right, and if you watch Ferrier's first goal, he's running down the left, and when you're young, you get taught to show them down the line, and if a cross comes in, then you deal with the cross. That's the way you're taught to deal with stuff like that. Aymer, for some reason, didn't do that. And you think of Mohamed Salah for Liverpool coming in and going down the right and cutting in on his left foot and scoring those goals. The way Coutinho used to do it on the left, cutting in on his right for Liverpool. Still doing it for Barcelona. Obviously, you think like that. Ferrier went down the left. Aymer showed him onto his right, and he cut it and bent it in the top corner. No chance for Thomas Holy. So that was the first goal. It was disappointing. First goal we conceded from open play all season. And time again, really, Aymer. Well, there was one point that stood out in the first half still. He showed him on... I was sat there with Lee, and I was saying, he's going to do it again, he's going to do it again. Aymer showed him onto his right foot, and Ferrier didn't score this time. But Aymer just kept showing to his right foot, and it was absolutely defending suicide. It was absolutely atrocious. So it was poor from them. But Walsall are a very, very good attacking side. They've put a lot of goals past a lot of people this season. Wimbledon hadn't conceded until last weekend. Walsall went and put 3 past them. Admittedly, Wimbledon were without their captain, Deji Oshalaja. But Walsall are not messing around this season. They're going to score a lot of goals. They threat a lot. I think Mark Byrne as well, he was quite poor at the bottom of the diamond on the ball. He was trying to do too much with it and kept giving the ball away. We saw that for one of Walsall's goals. And Josh Parker as well at the top of the diamond. Gosh, he's not a natural there, is he? I think it got to the point where a lot of fans, he put a cross out for a goal kick, and a lot of fans were shouting for him to get off. He did stay on, went to 4-3-3. Parker went to left wing for Hanlon. I can sort of understand that. A lot of fans are questioning that decision. I don't really understand Bingham going off. Bingham went off for Riley. I thought that was a weird one to take Bingham off. But Hanlon went off. I can understand that because Parker's more adaptable winger. We saw last year we played 4-2-3-1, a little bit under level, and Parker played left wing. I thought that was his best position for us. So I can understand that a little bit, but Parker wasn't great. You know, if someone's having a bad day to an extent, you've got to take him off in the end. Parker wasn't great. I think because of Walsall's counter, we struggled to get forward. You know, sometimes we were controlling the game. When we actually got up the pitch, it was okay. We created a few chances, but a lot of the time we were going forward and overcommitting, which meant Walsall were there on the counter. It was often 3 against 3 or something like that. And because then everyone's flooding to get back on the counter, there's you got maybe 1, maybe 2 players forwards. It just goes long and the ball just comes back again. And I don't like it when Gills go long. A lot of the time the ball goes into the channel. Sometimes there's a bit of success. You know, with Brandon Hanlon, he's brought a lot of success with balls into the channels that Luke O'Neill very much likes to play. But I think we did struggle with that a little bit. Connor Wilkinson came on. I think without a doubt he was our man of the match. He was our best player. He came on and played right wing in the 4-3-3. He got the assist for Tom Eaves' goal. He could have had a goal himself. He missed a really good chance from a corner where he headed it straight at the goalkeeper who tipped it over. But Wilkinson did play well. He was very much pushing for a start, I think, but he's picked up an injury and he wasn't in the squad against Sunderland, but Lovell has said that it's not too serious. One thing that weirded me out actually was the fact that Connor Wilkinson was on corners. So we saw it at Millwall, he took a corner, and then he took a corner again because Gillingham likes to take the in-swing in corners. Obviously, Luke O'Neill takes them on the right. On the left, it's normally Billy Bingham, but he wasn't on the pitch. Wilkinson was taking them, which was really weird. I think there should be a designated taker for that. And then when Wilkinson wasn't taking them, he had a good chance to score from a corner. So it wasn't ideal overall. I think when we went to wingers, it was better, but I don't think the system is necessarily the problem. I think the personnel, Regan Charles-Cook played deeper again, like he did at Millwall. Josh Parker started attacking midfield, like he did at Millwall, and it wasn't really great. I think Parker really needs to be moved from there. A lot of fans would have seen Regan Charles-Cook further forward and Callum Riley a lot more balanced, like a broken record at this point, the amount of people that are asking for it. But it wasn't to be. We did get a goal right at the end, like I said, with Connor Wilkinson crossing in for Tom Eaves. Eaves was, a lot of the time, he was taking it upon himself to go deeper and get the ball, like Harry Kane does for Tottenham. But Tom Eaves is very much a penalty box striker. Lovell's made that clear. Eaves made it clear himself, but he does often take it upon himself to go out wide, go deep and get the ball. He did that here. And it was a bit of a crap day altogether, to be honest. We got actually, to be fair, we nearly got a point out of it. Right at the end, after Eaves got his goal, Regan Charles-Cook had a really good chance. The corner, we had a short free kick that Holy took, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. It was saying in the vlog. Someone whipped it in, and Charles-Cook was at the back post, and he headed it just wide of the post. And if that had gone in, that would have been absolutely unreal. But yeah, it wasn't to be on the day. It was disappointing. I think defensively, we learned a lot because we really struggled with pace. I think we learned a lot. We need cover back there, not to overcommit at times because, it's okay to overcommit sometimes. Obviously, if you're chasing the game, that's okay. Obviously, if you know you could control the ball and you've got cover, that's fine. If you know the opposition haven't got much pace, that's fine. But the opposition had a lot of pace, and we really struggled with that. It was a 2-1 defeat. Before the season, I think a lot of people thought Walsall would struggle, but I could tell you for a fact, in my opinion, that it's factual, that they're not going to struggle this season. They're going to be right up there. They're playing really good football. They have a decent squad. And we saw that against us. You know, they got good home support and they played well. You know, they could have had more than 2. We probably could have had more than 1, but they were probably the better side. It was a deserved result on the day. They ran out 2-1 winners. And yeah, it wasn't great, but obviously 2 wins out of 3 wasn't the worst return. So we did brush that game under the carpet. There was a quick turnaround to Sunderland. We hosted them at Priestfield on Wednesday. They put 3 past Scunthorpe on Sunday. I think that was a really big statement by them. Obviously, Scunthorpe have now sacked their manager, Nick Dorse, after losing again in the week. But Sunderland had a jittered start. I don't know, is that the word I'm looking for? A jittered start. They went 1-0 down to Charlton. They brought it back and they got a last-minute winner there. They drew against Luton in their second game, so the third game was really important to see where they sat. Obviously, Scunthorpe right there last season. They were unlucky to miss out in the playoffs, but they went and put 3 past them, so we knew it was going to be a tough test. Sunderland's side, they have a lot of players that are still trying to get off their books, but they have a very youthful side. They have a side proven at this level. You just look who got the goals. Max Power, proven at this level, like George Honeyman, etc. Chris Maguire and Maja, all very good players for this level. We know they can do it, and they did do it. Obviously, we lost 4-1 overall. Steve Lovell went with the same team that lost to Walsall, which very, very, very much disappointed me. Josh Parker kept his place, which really frustrated me. I think Lovell spoke about how players have played well and they're going to keep their place, but Parker played okay up front, not in attacking midfield, and Regan Charles-Cook played so well in the game we saw him in attacking midfield, and fans are crying out for it and how much they want him to play further forward. Callum Riley was readily available on the bench, but Josh Parker kept his place, and there we go. Gills obviously got the first goal. It came from a corner. It was played short to Luke O'Neill. Luke O'Neill put in one of his traditional crosses, which the goalkeeper had a mare. He ran out and missed it, but Tom Eaves raised highest of about 4 people and put it in. And there were a lot of Sunderland fans, but the fans, 6,500 odd Gills fans, went mental. We were winning against Sunderland, a big side, but it did not last long at all, because Sunderland went up the other end and scored. They had a corner straight away. They kicked off very early, very quickly as well, which I liked from them, because we're unsettled. The fans they're still sort of celebrating the goal. Sunderland kicked off, got a corner. Corner comes in. Zachariah loses his man first of all. It's flicked on. Eaves loses his man at the back post, and Chris Maguire equalises for Sunderland less than a minute later. A lot of things to pick at in this defending. Obviously, Zachariah lost his man. But then the flick on comes, you've got to make sure you don't lose your man. And Tom Eaves lost it. Chris Maguire at the back post ran in. Holy wasn't happy. Zakwani wasn't happy. Holy should have saved it, but again, like Walsall, for Walsall's second goal, not for their second goal actually. Where am I thinking? Burton, like Burton, you should know you've got to have a man on the line. And we didn't, he could have been on the line at the other end, at the other side, but then Holy could have been better positioned, etc., etc. It's all ifs and buts. But, they got the goal, and if you had a man on the line there, that doesn't go in. If Holy tries to save it better, or if Holy pulls off a save, that doesn't go in. And if Zachariah doesn't lose his man, it doesn't go in. If he doesn't lose his man, it doesn't go in. But there we go. It wasn't to be 1-1. It was a pretty even game still. The Sunderland fans behind the goal were happy. Gills a bit downhearted, and then the second goal comes. It's more poor defending. They're getting down the right. The midfielders all come across. Mark Byrne and Billy Bingham. The people playing at the bottom of the diamond on the left. Byrne went across to cover the left back. Bingham came to cover a centre back. That left so much space on the edge of the box. For Honeyman, I think it was, he got the second goal, or it scored just inside the box. Holy could have saved it. He got a hand to it, but it went in. It was poor defending, and suddenly reality hit how good side Sunderland were. Goal 3, very, very quickly after that. Garmston trying to get down the left, take on about 2 people with no cover, no real aim. It was very, very poor from him. He lost it. He got back well, to be fair to him. But the ball came back across the edge of the box. Max Power was there. Closing down was not good enough. I think Luke O'Neill ended up coming across from right back, and then that left his man open anyway. So it was very poor defending, and it was stuck in, placed very, very well. And we were in absolute turmoil, to be honest. It did go a bit quiet after that. Steve Lovell changed the system. He changed to 4-2-3-1. So Byrne and Bingham were playing at the 2. And then Charles Cook was playing behind Eaves, with Hanlon out right and Parker out left. So it's not ideal. But we seem to play a bit better, to be honest. Charles-Cook was in the game. Hallam was in the game down the right. Start of the second half especially, shooting towards the Rainier men. We had a lot of chances. I don't know who it was actually. They got the goal. Had the chance. I think it was Hanlon, but a cross came in, and it was like a fumble, and it nearly went in. Keeper clawed it. Eves smashed it against the post from like a yard out. We had more chances, but we didn't get the goal. And then Sunderland went up the other end, got the goal. O'Neill, maybe he was fouled down the left, but the ball came back across a lot of space. Zakuani fumbled his clearance straight to Madja, who put it in. No mistake, 4-1. I think we very much learned that day that if you give good sides chances at this level, they will score them. You know, you've got to play the perfect game for sides like that. The sort of players they've got in their squad, they're going to take them. I think in previous years we've done well, like the likes of Wigan and Blackburn, who went up automatically last year at home. We drew 0-0 with Blackburn and 1-0 with Wigan, obviously, and nearly beat Wigan actually. So it was nearly the perfect. We nearly didn't concede last year, and that's your defenders got to be spot on. But it wasn't yesterday. We made a lot of mistakes. All 4 goals could have easily been avoided. But overall, I don't think it was a 4-1 game. We did have a lot of chances. Tommy has played really, really well, actually. Garmson did struggle. I don't necessarily think there's something wrong with the system. Yeah, I think the personnel is just really, really wrong. Especially in midfield. I think the strikers are fine. The back four's fine. I think Callum Riley should come in for Josh Parker in that midfield, and then it should all be reshuffled. So I think Billy Bingham should play at the bottom, with Callum Riley on the left, Mark Byrne on the right, and Regan Charles-Cook behind the strikers. I think at the minute Byrne's playing at the bottom with Bingham on the left because of the foot they are. So Bingham gives that balance that Riley gives, that Lovell talks about quite a lot on the left. But all right, dog. But if Riley was to come in, then Bingham could drop deeper, because I think Bingham is so much better in that holding role than Byrne. I think Byrne overcommits. We saw it at Walsall. And Bingham is a lot better there, the deep line playmaker. Even though he's okay going forward, but I think if Riley came in, that would all swap, and that would be fine. We did go for it at the end against Sunderland, you know, especially in that second half. But I think towards the end of the game, the end is all the fans sort of accepted. You can see as the full-time whistle went in the vlog, actually, about how people accepted it. We did create good chances. We've shown that we're capable going forward. Obviously, we've still scored in every league game this season, which is good. Obviously, we really didn't score for a lot of last season early on. But, yeah, it's hard to judge at this stage. I did tweet out because we've come up against 2 very good sides. Walsall and Sunderland are both going to be up there at the end of the season. I expect them both to be in at least the playoffs. I don't think a lot of people could have said that for Walsall, but that's irrelevant. They're both going to be up there. And 2 different sides. Sunderland obviously moved the ball well. Walsall, a counter-attacking team. Walsall, we struggled with the counter. Sunderland, you know, we just defended poorly. And you cut those mistakes. It's a different game. If you don't concede that early goal, you know, if you're 1-0 up and then you see out a 5-minute period, at least, you know, you're in the game. It could be a different game. The game opens up a bit, but Sunderland can afford to play the game because it's back to 0-0 as far as they're concerned straight away. I just think it was poor. It's a shame. You know, you cut the mistakes. It's a different story. I think a lot of people are calling for Eamon to be dropped now, which is also a hard decision because he formed a really good partnership with Gabby Zakuani last season. This season, we saw it for the first 2 games, and then the last 2, it's been quite poor. I think Alex Lacey is doing everyone a favour as well, pushing himself. But we'll talk about that later on in the podcast. Yeah, I was going to talk about Bradley Garmson as well, but we'll talk about that in the defenders section. But we obviously fell to Sunderland. Now it's important to go and get results Saturday against Coventry. Obviously, we'll talk about that later as well. But you don't want to get in a winless run because after that, you've got Barnsley who could be up there as well. And we don't want to be conceding goals left, right and centre. We want to be scoring them. We want to be taking our chances. We've got the likes of Elliot List back now. He was back against Sunderland. He played well when he came on, giving the defenders nightmares. Regan Charles-Cook has got a lot of pace about him. He should have had a penalty. Stone wall that wasn't given. Eamon was then booked for dissent. But, you know, we've got a lot of players coming back now. We want to make sure we don't get on this poor run. Because we have a good squad. And I think I'm just looking at the squad photo now. It's a good squad. I just think we defended poorly and cut out the mistakes, you know. Cut out mistakes and it's good. It's all ifs and buts at the end of the day. It wasn't a 4-1 game, but Sunderland played well. They're going to be at the end of this season. 6 points from possible 12. We're 9th in the league. It's not the end of the world, but but we've got to forget these now. Go get a result on Saturday. So we are now going to move on to talk about the defence in focus. Obviously, we did the strikers, we did the midfielders. We're now going to talk about the defence. We'll probably do the goalkeepers next week, but for now, we're going to talk about the defence. Now, coming to Gillingham, I think it is very much a simple process of choosing the back four. Every week it picks itself. Obviously have Luke O'Neill at right back, Bradley Garmson at left back, Max Amer and Gabriel Zakuani at centre backs. Last season, that defence, give or take a few players every now and again. Excuse me. Obviously, there was some injuries. Sean Clare played right back a little bit. Obviously, have the likes of Ben Nugent playing at points. We had the joint second best defence outside the top six last season, bettered only by Doncaster. So it was obviously a good turnaround. Under Pennock, under Edinburgh, it was an absolute disaster. So it's nice for Lovell, Cox, Patterson to shore up the defence. I think a big shout out goes to Ian Cox. He works a lot with the defenders closely. And that back four is good. In terms of depth, it's a little bit weaker. Obviously, Ben Nugent turned down a deal. He's now at Stevenage. Conor Ogilvy's not here anymore, thank the Lord. But we've got Barry Fuller in to cover at right back. We have Finn O'Mara and Alex Lacey as our centre backs, and Aaron Simpson, who's our left back. Obviously, we have the likes of Alex Lacey, Jack Tucker and Ryan Huckle as well. And Danny Devine's obviously got another scholarship for a year because of injuries, but now I think he's picked up another injury as well, which isn't ideal. But a lot of people are saying we need to jump into the transfer market to sort out our defence a little bit. I'm not totally against that. I think we very much need a left back. Alex Lacey, we know he's had his injury problems. He was injured at the start of the season as well. That leaves Finn O'Mara, a second-year pro, as our third choice centre back. Against Accrington, when Lacey was injured, Barry Fuller and Aaron Simpson were our defenders. I was surprised to see Aaron there over Finn O'Mara because obviously Finn's a centre back. If one of our defenders went off injured, one of our centre backs, who would come in? Would Fuller play centre back? Would O'Neill play centre back? Luckily that didn't happen, but I was surprised not to see Finn O'Mara there. Was Aaron there because of Garmson's injury problems as well? I'm not sure, but I do think we need to go in and get a lone centre back or an older centre back, someone that's not necessarily going to play all the time, because I think they are going to be fourth choice centre back behind Amer Zakuani and Lacey. A lot of people as well saying we need to go and get a left back. I really like Aaron. A lot of people are wondering if he's ready for first team yet, but I think he's probably our hottest youth prospect, and I don't mean to sound biased there, but I think he is. But Bradley Garmson hasn't had the greatest time at Gillingham. He's looked very average at times, which is okay. It's fine. He does the job, but people saying we could get better. But obviously the loan window is the only window open at the minute, and free agents still until the end of the month. But I think it's going to be hard to go and get a lone left back that's better than Garmson at this point. So I don't necessarily see that happening. It would be good to get another centre back in at least, though. See, the depth isn't great, so we've probably got about 8 defenders really. So that's probably our second choice back four: Fuller, O'Mara, Lacey, Simpson behind O'Neill, Amer, Zakuani, Garmson. I'm just going to pick about all the stuff I think about the defence, my general thoughts. So one thing I touched on a little bit is the positioning of the two defenders. Obviously, all 4 of our centre backs at the minute are right-footed. So you have to have a right-footed defender playing on the left, which isn't always ideal, but it's not the biggest problem in the world. In our back two, Zakuani plays left centre-back and Amer plays right centre-back. I would swap that, in my opinion. I don't know if Amer's playing on the right because he's considered our ball-playing centre-back and he wants to be on his strongest foot, and Zakuani just kicks everything anyway, so does it make a difference? But for me, when Amer was here before Zakuani, with Egan, Elabd, he played on the left quite a lot, and I think he's got a good left foot. I think he should be playing on the left here as well. Zakuani needs as much support as he can get for his right foot, in my opinion. So I think that those two should swap, but obviously it's not going to happen. If other partnerships were to be, I think Zakuani will probably stay on the left both times. Alex Lacey as well is okay on the left. Obviously, we don't have a left centre-back, which isn't ideal. Nugent was left-footed last year, which gave us some balance. But it doesn't matter too much. It was just a thought of mine. I'd like the two to swap. We're going to talk a little bit about them in the warm-ups now. Obviously, before the game, we see the back four warm up together. They stand in the line, and Ian Cox throws them balls in the air, rolls on balls, and one by one, they step forward, run backwards, and deal with the ball. I think that's dipped a little bit as time has gone on. I think it might just be a rough observation, but I think Aimer and O'Neill look lazy. Maybe they don't like warming up or something, but maybe I'm wrong. It's just an observation. And I also think they used to go up as a 4 and come back as a 4. Now, the other 3 just stand there doing nothing. They used to be all on their toes. When one went forward, they used to all go forward, and they used to all go back. I know necessarily that's not always the case in the game, but maybe they should do drills like one goes forward, someone else drops. Zakawani does like to cover aim when he does it, which is good, because it's like a game situation then, rather than just not paying any attention to your other centre-back. They should warm up more as a 4. Yeah, I think that's a little something. As the time's gone on, they've dropped a little bit in terms of their warm-up and the efforts and the aim of it. And maybe it's become more routine for them rather than actually putting it into a game situation, which is very, very important. The final thing I wanted to talk about with the defence was the fact that a lot of people are calling for Alex Lacey to be put into the team. When we signed him from Yeovil, I think a lot of people thought he was going to be our new John Egan. He was going to be our future captain. He was going to be our first choice centre-back on the team sheet. And because of the fine form of Zakawani and Aimer, he has found his opportunities limited, as well as injuries as well. Last season, we started the season with 3 centre-backs, admittedly under Adrian Pennick, but O'Neill was playing right centre-back, Zakawani was playing centre-back, and Max Aimer was playing left centre-back. I think Alex Lacey might have come in for Max Aimer at that time, but he was injured. And since then, Aimer and Zakawani, particularly under Lovell, put in some really good performances, and Lacey has found his opportunities few and far between. Obviously, Ben Nugent as well was probably ahead of him last season when everyone was fit, but Lacey really did struggle with injuries. Alex Lacey is very good on the ball. He's very impressive against Millwall. For me, I would like to see him involved in some way, but it's very, very hard. A lot of people got sort of edging towards Lacey over Aimer at the minute, and I would actually join that bandwagon. It's not the end of the world. I'm a big fan of Max Aimer. I think Alex Lacey should play with Gabby Zakawani. I think it's hard there because you'd associate Lacey as a right centre-back as well. I think Zakawani should probably still play on the right of that partnership with Lacey on the left. And then Max Aimer obviously keeping on his toes. But it is good that we have depth. We have a lot of depth in there. Everyone's keeping each other on their toes, especially Fuller now. He's a good pro. Lovell said in the Q&A, I think a direct quote, what a signing he is. Because he's such a good pro. He came on at Millwall and played left back. He can play right back. He can even play centre back. It's a good signing, a good cover. Luke O'Neill, obviously his form has dipped a little bit. Maybe his work rate, maybe not, has dipped a little bit recently. He's going to have higher offers after the amount of assists he gets. But while we've got him, he's a brilliant defender on his day. Zakawani and Aimer, solid. Garmson as well. I think left back's probably the weakest point of the back four. Aaron, I don't know if he's going to start games at this point, but he's pushing Garmston as well, hopefully, in training. And then Finn O'Mara's there as well. He might go out on loan, but also we need him for cover because we don't have another centre-back in there. But as a whole, our defence, it's a good defence, It's the main part of our team. Maybe it's handy in a way to talk about the defence, the fact that the last 2 games they've struggled. Admittedly, they've not had much protection from the midfield. I think that's clear, seeing some goals from the last 2 games, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise that's happening, so I can talk about it here. The form's dipped, but I expect him to get back in. Zakawani's our captain, he's a leader. Ian Cox is a brilliant defensive coach, and I expect us to have another good defensive record this season. Alex Lacey, I'm hoping he can push into the team. I think in terms of playing the back 3, it's a possibility. I don't think Luke O'Neill is the most adept wing back, because I don't think he's as quick or as attacking, especially as Bradley Garmston. Last year, I think it could have been a really handy formation to play with the transitions. I think I was a big fan of Luke O'Neill at right centre-back, actually, and then Scott Wagstaff playing right wing-back, because you can easily transition that into a back 4 either way. If Lacey played on the left, he obviously featured at full-back a couple of times last season. He's playing left. He's going to play left-back, Wagstaff right-back, O'Neill and Zakawani, it would be centre-backs, or switch it the other way. O'Neill right-back, Garmston left-back, Lacey and Zakawani centre-backs, which is a good transition, but we never actually saw that really. That personnel exactly as such. Obviously, Conor Ogilvie, we had to deal with him at left wing-back at times last year. But, it's a possibility. Obviously, we played it in pre-season. We got slapped by Colchester's playing it, and we haven't seen it since, apart from the later stages against Sunderland, which was so many square pegs and round holes. I think Hanlon was playing right wing back and Parker was playing left wing back, and Stevenson came on and played right wing back. Gomson was playing centre back. It was a bit all over the place, but the back four is sturdy. It's a good defence. Maybe a couple more signings in there to push everyone on, but it is a key part of our team and probably the best part of our team too. So this week I wanted to look a little bit at Regan Charles-Cook in focus. He is a player that has jumped and ran onto the scene at Gillingham. When he came in, he was obviously very unproven. Lovell spoke himself about how much of a risk the midfield was, the likes of Josh Rhys as well, coming in, inexperienced. And not a lot of people knew too much about Regan Charles-Cook, to be fair. His opportunities were few and far between at Charlton. He had loans at Solihull Moors for a year, Woking as well. He had two loans there. Not a lot of people knew what to expect. In pre-season, he was playing deeper. A lot of people thought that the diamond was going to be Billy Bingham at the bottom, Riley and Byrne, and then Parrott at the top. That wasn't the case. We went into Accrington. Admittedly, Callum Riley had an injury. We might have seen that if he wasn't injured, but he was. So Lovell had to make a change, and he changed a lot. Dean Parrott played at the bottom of the diamond, Mark Byrne and Billy Bingham played either side, and Regan Charles-Cook played at the top, and he got man of the match for me. He was absolutely outstanding in that first game at Accrington. In pre-season, he was playing deeper. He looked a good player, but looked more of a squad player than anything. He looked like he was going to play second fiddle to Byrne and Riley. Looked like he's going to do a job. Charlton fans didn't speak too highly of him. Some were upset to lose him, but some didn't speak too highly of him. So that he didn't get minutes for us. I can't believe he's starting for you. But he's been absolutely incredible. He's been my player of the season so far. Admittedly, it's only 4 games in, but he has. His key attributes, really, I think, definitely his pace, which a lot of people speak about. Steve Lovell speaks about his pace. We know how quick he is. We know how much his pace and Brendan Hanlon's pace helped the team. Maybe that's why Josh Parker's come in, because Josh Parker's quick too, so maybe that's why Parker's gone at the top of the diamond with Regan Charles-Cook a bit deeper, so he can have a bit more pace in the side. It's close control as well. He's very, very good on the ball. He obviously got the assist for the opener, our first goal of the season, scored by Brendan Hanlon at Accrington, the 2 former Charlton boys linking up. He did grow up with Hanlon and Lovell at Charlton in their academy. Lovell knew them both from when they were very, very young, like 11 and 12. So that's why he came in, and he's done very, very well. He obviously started at the top of the diamond against Accrington, like I touched on. He played there. He started there again against Burton. It was the same team until Dean Parrott went off injured. And then he dropped deeper, Mark Byrne dropped deeper, and Josh Parker, of course, dropped deeper. And that was the start of Josh Parker playing attacking midfield. But yeah, that's what's happened so far. A lot of people want to see Regan Charles-Cook further forward. He's 21 years old. He's a lot of potential. He's very, very key to us. I think he's the main creative player for us at the minute. Obviously, you want to have it all over the midfield, but he's the key for us at the minute, I think. Very, very good on the ball to replace Lee Martin as such. But he's got bags of ability, bags of talent, raw talent. Him and Brandon Hanlon link up excellently. Their pace is key, and that's why so many people want to see him further forward. Against Millwall, he didn't look like he wanted to defend much. He was a bit slow to it, but he did defend. But we saw glimpses of him running with the ball, and so many people just want to see him with the licence, with the freedom to float in around that attacking midfield role, and he'll get bags of assists and bags of goals as well, I think. He should have won a penalty against Sunderland as well. He played well. It's key to our system. It's key to our team. I just pray that Lovell can use him properly and not play the season with him playing deeper, because he needs to be playing that attacking midfield role, in my opinion. So it's only a quick one, but Regan Charles-Cook, brilliant player, key to us, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season. So finally, we will move on to the previews, and it's just the one game this week. We face Coventry City at Priestfield on Saturday. So this one is important for us. I'm going to split this into 2 sections. First, I'm going to look at us, then I'm going to look at Coventry. Actually, I'll swap it around. We'll look at Coventry first. So Coventry sits 16th in the table. We currently sit 9th. They've got a win, a draw, and 2 losses so far. They lost their opening game to Scunthorpe 2-1. They drew 0-0 versus Wimbledon. They beat Plymouth 1-0, who've also had a poor start. And they lost 2-0 versus Blackpool in the week. They also lost to Oxford in the first round of the Cup. So they're out just like us. So it's been a close game so far. They've not scored too many, just 1 goal scored. but they're not conceded too many either. 2 clean sheets and 4 goals conceded. So maybe a low-scoring game is on the cards. They obviously lost their top scorer, McNulty, last season. He went to Reading. Made a joke about Gillingham, wishful thinking. He's gone to Reading. They replaced him with Bakayoko from Walsall, which is an interesting one. He's not been starting for them too much lately, but they do have a bit of talent there as well. They have like Junior Brown, who's come from Shrewsbury, Thomas, etc. They play okay football. Steve Lovell praised Mark Robbins in the week, saying about how he's done a good job there, and obviously he has with the ownership problems, the fall of Coventry, and they've done well to come back up. They smashed the playoff final, and now they're looking to probably stay in League One as their aim after the first season, but then they look to build up and head towards the Championship, I'm assuming, in the long run. But their fans travel in numbers. I expect it to be a good atmosphere again in Priestfield, and it will be a tough one. In terms of us, Steve Lovell said in his press conference that he will not change his style of play. Good. I'm hoping that means that he's not going to change the formation. Last couple of games he's changed it and we've played better. Against Walsall he went to 4-3-3. Against Sunderland he went to 4-2-3-1. I'm hoping that doesn't mean he's going to change formation, because I do think that the Diamond has potential if he changes the personnel, like I said earlier, and I will touch on again in a minute. Still no Josh Rees. He was meant to be back at the same time as the elite list, but he's going to be back for Barnsley, which is the game after Coventry, Lovell said. And Dean Parrott will be back after that, which is good. Hopefully we'll be up to a full squad. Connor Wilkinson as well should be back after missing the Sunderland game with a slight tinge, which leaves a bit of a selection problem. For me, I'm praying Callum Riley comes in for Josh Parker. Regan Charles-Cook push forward, Bingham deeper, Burn forward more, etc, etc. You know the story, I've said it a million times. Josh Parker's actually off on international duty soon. He'll be there for the Coventry game, but then he'll be off. In terms of the bench, some of it picks itself. I'd go with Hadler, Fuller, Lacey, obviously. List is going to be on it. Wilkinson's probably going to be on it. Hadler, Fuller, Lacey, List, Wilkinson. And then that means you'd probably have to have Parker on there, and that leaves room for one midfielder. Would it be Stevenson? Would it be Nasseri? I think it's probably going to be Stevenson, because Lovell's obviously bought him on and used him more than Nasseri, even though it wasn't necessarily Nasseri's best position where Stevenson's played. He played centre midfield against Millwall, and he played right wing back against Sunderland. I think it'll be Stevenson, so that makes my 11. Holy, O'Neill, Zakuani, Aimer, well, obviously Lacey, but I don't think it's going to happen. So Aimer, Garmston, Bingham at the bottom of the diamond, Byrne on the right, Riley on the left, good left foot, right foot balance there, allowing Bingham to go deeper. Regan Charles-Cook at the top of the diamond, and then Eves and Brandon Hanlon up top. My bench would be Tom Hadler, Barry Fuller, Alex Lacey, Bradley Stevenson, Elliot List, Josh Parker, Connor Wilkinson. So a lot of talent, attacking talent to come off the bench in that game. It will be a tough one. I think it's very, very important we don't lose this game, because we've lost 3 in a row if you count Millwall. If we go and lose this one, we could easily go and lose to Barnsley the week after, because they're a very good side, and then suddenly you've lost 4 in a row and you're right down there. Let's hope these 2 games are just blips against very good teams. Let's hope that these 2 games we've learnt a lot of lessons from. Let's hope we learn to drop Parker. I can't see it happening, but I'm praying. But let's hope we've learned the lessons. Let's hope we can put in a good defensive performance. A clean sheet will go down lovely. Let's hope we can get a result. A point, I'd be disappointed with a point. Obviously, it depends on the circumstances, but I want to win this game. I'm going to go with 2-0 Gills. I'm really nervous, actually. More nervous than I was with Sunderland, because with Sunderland you're not really expecting, but Coventry, these are the sides you need to be beating, and with Barnsley up after that as well. It's going to be a tough one. I want 3 points. I really want 3 points. In front of Priestfield, you know, we spoke about it. The players spoke about making Priestfield a fortress. Sunderland, hopefully it's a blip. They're a good side. We've got to make sure not a lot of teams come here and win this season. Coventry are one of those sides we want to be beating. It's it's going to be a tough one. I hope we put in a performance and just take our chances. Defensively solid. Put the effort in and the work rate to win the game. I think we will. I'm going to back the boys, but we'll see how it goes. heading to Priestfield tomorrow. Obviously, you can check out the vlog for that, which will be out on Sunday. But that is it for this episode of the Gillingham podcast. If you did enjoy it, please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. Follow all the stuff in the description, all the socials, all our other channels, all our channel partners. Again, apologies for the messiness of the channel the last couple of weeks. Next week, we're back. We're going to have better videos. We're going to have more videos, more guests, more people talking football, because that's what we love. But stay tuned for the vlog on Sunday. Apart from that, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.